Khoomei throat singing. It's probably one of the most wonderful, but unfortunately also one of the most misunderstood vocal arts that exist today. Just before you watch this video, I want to make a little disclaimer. You should always have a bottle of water with you if you want to sing Khoomei. Whether you're already a Khoomei singer or you're just a beginner and you're practicing, never sing on a dry throat, so drink a mouthful of water, just a sip of water, and then sing. And I would say every 5 minutes just drink a little water, and it's better that way. Definitely don't sing on a dry throat. I've already recorded the first part of the tutorial, so I can say that it will be a very basic explanation, but I will give more information in the description, so please check out the description and I will have a lot of information there as well. And having that said, make sure to like this video and also give it a like if you enjoy it. So something that you need to be aware of is that when you start throat singing, it's normal to suck. It would be a miracle if you didn't suck. Like, everybody sucks when they start, and you should have seen how much I sucked when I started. Like, seriously, you should have seen how much I sucked. It took like tens of hours to get rid of my suckage and to become decent. Maybe even more, maybe even hundreds of hours. It took a long time. It's normal to suck in the beginning. What you want is that you want to be doing the right thing. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you're doing it perfectly. You can suck at it, but at least you know you're not doing something else. You're not trying something that doesn't even exist in the art of Huumii. So your goal as a beginner is, okay, I'm gonna suck in the beginning. It's probably gonna take you like a year. Even if you practice every day, it's probably gonna take you like 1 year to, even with tutorials, at least I would give you at least 6 months. I don't have enough fingers on this hand to show this, but it probably take you at least 6 months to become like decent. But what you want to know is that, okay, at least I'm not doing anything that is not part of the art. So nothing like something like that. This is not. This is something else. You might have overtones. But it's completely different. So you need to be aware of that, okay? Khoomei throat singing. It's probably one of the most wonderful, but unfortunately also one of the most misunderstood vocal arts that exist today, and probably even historically because it's a very old practice. There are a lot of false tutorials and like videos of people who they just listen to it a few times. And because people don't really take it seriously, they think, oh, throat singing, that sounds like something that I could learn in like 2 minutes, and then they take videos of themselves, and the worst part is that many of them actually call it tutorial. And I'm not saying it's with intention, like they have a bad intention or something, but many of them take advantage of the fact that there isn't really, like, people don't really know about this thing. People don't know about what throat singing is, so I can just come and I can give any information and people will take it because nobody like knows anything about it, even though it's such a complex and complicated, and it would take a long time to explain everything, you know. There needs to be a lot of explanation done on this. One thing that I have to say before I begin is I have to mention there is a person called, I think, Alex Glenfield, and he's really good. His tutorials are really good, so you should check out his tutorials. I'm gonna leave the link to his tutorials or to his channel in my description here. And I think that it's really good to watch those videos. He is closest to Tuvan throat singing, although he is not doing it exactly like 100% the Tuvan way, in my opinion, at least the Huumei voice. Or maybe his voice just sounds different, maybe it's, I don't know. But it's still throat singing and it's very good. It's very good. And he has more experience than me, he's an older guy, he's learned it a long time ago, and you can learn a lot from him. Now, having that said, I decided to make this tutorial number one because I was asked. Many people asked me to make this tutorial for a long time, like for years actually. I've promised this for like a long time. And number two, I think that it's very important to give people legitimate knowledge that is free. Like, you don't have to pay. I'm not going to ask for any money. I can't monetize my channel anyway, but I'm not going to ask you for money or anything. I'm not going to make like a stupid course, and not criticizing those who actually do, but I'm not going to make like a course and like ask people for money. Okay, I'm saying I'm a throat singer. I have a professional knowledge of throat singing. I have a professional way of interpreting throat singing. I'm not the best singer in the world. I would rate myself as a very good, at least compared to a beginner, I'm a good singer, I think. Although I'm not the best in the world, but in terms of theory, I can explain to you everything in terms of like the anatomy of the throat, and I can explain to you everything in detail, to much more detail than you would have seen in any tutorial, because what I know, it's a collection of obsessive research, obsessive practice. I was obsessed with this. I gotta admit, I was absolutely obsessed with Khoomei. But I did gain a lot of knowledge as a result, so I have to share it. You know, people have asked me, I have to share it. So in Khoomei, there are 4 main vocal techniques, divided into 2. You have the harmonic voice and the subharmonic voice. I don't want to show the wrong finger here, but we have the harmonic and the subharmonic voice. What happens is your throat is like this, okay? Starting with the harmonic voice. Your throat is like this. It is a hole, essentially, that is vibrating, and it creates, the voice. And the difference between the normal voice and the harmonic voice is that when you sing with your normal voice, or when you speak, it's the voice that comes out naturally, the hole is kind of like open, kind of like this, and there's a decent amount of air coming through. But when you sing with the harmonic voice, you know what happens? It goes like this. It becomes small, and now you have a very similar vibration, but there is much less air coming through. So this is the first thing that I want you to be aware of, that there is less air coming through. Now, why have I said that there are 2 harmonic voices? Okay, the first harmonic voice is coming from deeper in the throat, and then there is a higher variant. Now, technically, there's a whole spectrum, so I could make a sound very deep, or I can make a sound like high in the throat, but I'm not going to teach you anything outside of what is already currently practiced. So I have 2 methods. I have the Tuvan method and I have the Mongolian method, and I want you to just hear this. Once I have taught you the theory, you're going to hear this I'm going to demonstrate, and all you want to do is just imitate, because this is the same thing I'm doing. I'm just imitating singers. So I said, this is the Tuvan, I'm going to imitate a Tuvan singer, and then this is the Mongolian, I'm going to imitate Mongolian singers. And your goal is just, okay, you have the knowledge, you know, it gets smaller, there is less air coming through, there is constriction in the throat. Now, after I explain the theory, you will hear it, you want to imitate it. So I will demonstrate the 2 variants of the harmonic voice, the Khoomei voice. And then I will talk about overtones as well, which is also very important. Some important information about the Khoomei voice is that you should be careful and listen to your voice. and there should be like a buzzing sound. It sounds almost like an electric voice. It sounds like you have like an electrical larynx or something, or like, you know, like it's an electrical voice, a robot voice almost. And that buzzing, that's actually the part that amplifies the overtones. And I can actually, when I sing, like let me feel my throat. When I sing, actually, in the Tuvan singing, I feel it like here. In the Mongolian singing, I feel it here. I can also make it deeper, but I will not include it because I said I only include what it's actually already practiced. So here and here, and you should hear that. You should, and you will hear it in my demonstrations as well, definitely. And remember that the vocal folds are getting small and they're vibrating. So before you start practicing Khoomei, there are quite a number of conditions that you need to be aware of. So number one is your health. You need to take care of your health. So no smoking, no drinking, no eating ice cream. I'm sorry about that. You need to live a life in which you are decently healthy. You know, you need to be in good physical condition. And you see even a lot of the big singers, they're singing and they're like sweating, and you see that because it is indeed, it requires a lot of stamina to throat sing. And you need to be in good physical condition. You need to get enough sleep. Also another thing is closely related to the first thing I mentioned. The second condition would be that you need to be in to have stamina, right? So if I go and I jog, I run around, I climb a tree, I do some exercise, some heavy like exercise, some cardio, you know, then I start singing, it's not gonna work. Even for me, even for a big singer, it will not work. It's like zero, like my throat doesn't even, it doesn't work, you know. Because what happens is that's to be able to hold that constriction, like in Khoomei-Sygyt, to be able to hold that constriction, especially in the Tuvan type of Khoomei-Sygyt, which is the most difficult one compared to the Mongolian one. You need to have stamina. You need to have, your breathing needs to be, if you're like tired and you're like panting, you're like, you know, you can't do it. You can't, after playing a match of like tennis or something, I can't sing, you know. This is why I always sing before, like right now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like ride my bicycle and then I'm gonna climb a tree. I need to sing first before doing these things, because else it just doesn't work, so I need to be aware of that as well. I've already talked about the importance of drinking water. Another thing is, another condition is, you need to keep your back straight. So you need to keep your back straight, okay? Don't be like this, don't be like this. Keep your back straight, and this will really help you. And it is a condition. So like this, your legs should be at a 90-degree angle, sitting down like on a chair, like I am sitting down right now. If you're sitting down on something that is like like your legs are like this, it's not good, because if you're like squatting, for example, like Slavic squatting, you know, if I sing like this, it doesn't work, because my lungs don't have enough space to expand because of my feet. And the only way you can correct that is by sitting correctly in this position with my legs at roughly a 90-degree angle. Another thing is that for a beginner you should sing while sitting down. This is very important. Sit down. If I sing while standing up, it requires more stamina, more control of my voice. Now, for a singer, like I can sing standing up. Even for me, there is, for example, the dab kargara, the low kargara. I could always sing it sitting down, because if I do it while standing up, there's more pressure on my throat, and because it's a lower style, a lower note, it is harder to control in that way. I can still do it if I require. I can still do it while standing up, but I always prefer to do it sitting down. But even when it comes to Sygyt, Khobu Kargara, all of the sounds that are sang on a higher note, it's better to sit down, especially if you're a beginner. In the beginning I couldn't do it standing up. I always sat down. Like I never did it standing up. It took me a long time to be able to do it while standing up. And definitely in the beginning, you should start with sitting down. It's better if you just not recline. Like if you have like something that holds like this part of the chair, you don't want to recline on this part of the chair. You want to, your back should be like this, like not touching anything, preferably. You can also sing, I guess. Some of the things that the singers do is they put one foot under you, and then it's like a squat where one knee is touching the ground. You know that squat, right? When one knee is touching the ground and you're like this, and you're singing like this. But even this is not recommended for a beginner. It's just you want to maximize your circumstances to make it easy for you. So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is breathing. So when you breathe, you need to be careful, because if I sing on a low note, okay, then I'm not gonna breathe as much air as if I sing on a high note. So the rule, at least for me, low kargra, which I will teach in other tutorial. I can't do it in all one video because I don't have enough space. For like that kargra, you know, less air. It's you breathe in like a little more than a normal breath, like. But you should see what you're comfortable with. But definitely, when you sing a lower note like that kargra, for example, you should not breathe a lot of air, like fully, you know. Huumei, like the middle range, almost fully, but still a significant difference. SYGYT, almost to your fullest. If you are like, for example, I have great lungs capacity. Like I have, I tried that there's like a machine, or not a machine, but there's that thing that like you can measure your lung capacity. Actually, like I broke the maximum limit of it. Like literally, the machine didn't have enough gradations to measure how much air I breathe in, you know. So yeah, I have very strong lungs, very big lung capacity, twice as much as it would be normal for my size, I guess, almost twice as much. But because I have been singing for so long, obviously, and even for me, it's still not easy. It's never easy to be a Khoomei singer. You should not get the idea that it's easy. It's never easy, but it is possible with a lot of work. So the breathing should be in accordance to, if you're doing Khoomei CONSTRICTION, like what I teach you in this video, the breathing should be for Khoomei almost full, like not really full, but kind of like there, and for SYGYT even a little bit more, but not, you're not forcing, or your lungs shouldn't feel like you're exploding or something. Ooh, sorry, now you are like, I'm not gonna sing right now because I've already I've been exercitating a lot of effort now, and I haven't drank water, so I need to hydrate my throat, drink out some water, and I will sing actually. I brought my instrument, but I'm practicing a new song, so yes. So, starting with my normal voice, I want you to imitate what I'm doing. But first of all, just listen. Oh, normal voice. Oh. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little tension here. And my voice will start sounding kind of something like this. This is the technique that is high Huumei. It's it's coming from here in the throat. And so what I want you to do is just, after you've understood, it comes from high in the throat, you want to imitate this. This is the voice, and I can actually speak like this because I can, you know, I'm not, it's not painful or anything. This is actually the easiest technique of throat singing, and this is practiced by Mongolians, so what I'm doing is just imitating their technique, and you should be able to, you know, get familiar, you know, I mean, you see how I'm speaking, you probably have an idea, you heard a theory, you probably have an idea of how it functions, you know? Okay, now, demonstrating the one that's coming from a little deeper. Now let me show you where it's actually coming from. This is the higher one. You see the thing that's sticking out, you know, this here that's sticking out, okay? The one that's higher is like a little above. The one that's lower is like here. The Tuvan one is here, okay? Let me put my phone back. So the Tuvan one would sound like this, starting from my normal voice. Oh, and you can modulate it, you can make it louder, quieter, you can do a lot of things with this. Just like with my normal voice, I can do I can do a lot of things with it, right? This is a flexible organ, okay? But I'm giving you two ways, and I want you to not get lost and start finding your own way, because it's gonna take you a long time. Just imitate the two ways that I'm doing it. Normal voice, starting with normal voice. Okay. Now, once we've got this, we can talk about overtones, but I will make a second tutorial for that. I will talk briefly about it, but I have to elaborate more on that. So I'm going to include overtones, don't worry, but I have to elaborate. There are hundreds of styles, by the way, in Khoomei. There are hundreds of styles, by the way, in Khoomei. And this, if you combine, because you have 4 techniques, and you have pretty much like at least 20 styles that you can do with each technique, and then you have like, it's like 20 times 4, so you like 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here. You got at least 100 techniques, and I'm going to teach you some of them, the ones that are sang most commonly. Now I have to add, you need some water, at least in the beginning. You know, you don't need to sing. You shouldn't sing if you have a dry throat. Okay, I will put this in the beginning as a disclaimer, because I haven't said it already. So now I will do some overtones, and I will start with Huumii, in which the tongue is moving like if you whistle, in a very similar way. Tuvan Huumii. So what I want you to do is just, you've heard this, you have an idea of how it sounds. I just want you to imitate this sound. The same note, because this, if you are a man and you have the voice of a man, you should be okay on this note. If that was too hard, Okay, now Mongolian one. Using this voice. So try to imitate this. Now the SYGYT. You put your tongue like this, and I'm gonna start with the Tuvan one and just imitate this. You're drawing your jaw a little forward. You should be doing the same with Huumei, by the way. Bring your jaw a little forward. So try to imitate this. Just a basic demonstration, and now the Mongolian one. Tuvan. So try to imitate it, and